my constituency, and instead of responding to a few cattle thieves who are known, whose names have been given to police, the minister goes and says he's making issuing a curfew orders on the entire constituency. You wonder whether the minister has really taken this into consideration, knowing that we are in the period of campaigns. So, Mr. Speaker, some of these curfew orders that the minister makes must be regulated. And one of the reasons why this committee was created is to look into the excesses of the executive. So, anyway, Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to reply.
Well, honorable members, I'll direct that the next actions will be undertaken in regard to that business when it will be set down next on the order paper. I direct that we move on to the next business on the order paper.
Order number 15, motion, report of the Lake Turkana Wind Power Project.
Honorable Nasir, I believe you're the chair of this one. You may move your report.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to move this report with the hope that we can be able to finalize it by today morning. Mr. Speaker, this is a very intrigued report that this committee did. In fact, it is going to be my last special audit report that I'm moving. Mr. Speaker, one, the Lake Turkana Wind Power Project was a very, very beautiful and a very feasible project that it is actually one of the largest public-private partnership that this country has had. Initially, when this was conceptualized, the company that was meant to do this was meant to do the line together with the power stations. Then up came along that instead of us doing that, let us do the line separately with the birth of Ketraco. Now, as per usual, all over the world, renewable energy has it that if that company has already finished their part and you're not ready to collect that power, then you have to pay what is deemed generated energy.
Honorable Nasir, just move fast, eh?
Yes.
It's, you need to look at the order paper, the way it is, so that you move. You need to say that this House adopts the way it is there. Then you can say.
Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, I beg that this House adopts this particular, I move that this report be adopted. Thank you. Chair, I beg that this House adopts the report of the Public Investment Committee on its consideration of the special audit report on the Lake Turkana Wind Project, laid on the table of this House on Thursday, June 2nd, 2022. And as I was continuing, Mr. Speaker, as I was continuing, what ended up happening is that Ketraco did not do a risk assessment to realize that whether, in the event that they delay, what is going to happen. And in the process of that, they signed addendas. Those addendas was for the purposes of the transmission line. And when they signed those addendas, they did not put in mind that that is going to have a replica effect financially on a company that is now charging us for power that was generated but was never ended up being used by Kenyans. Mr. Speaker, equally, amongst the recommendations that we have now said is that the accounting officers then at the Ministry of Energy and Ketraco should be held accountable for one, not conducting an independent legal risk assessment prior to execution of the contracts. And then secondly, Mr. Speaker, there was excess amount of money that had been paid to this company. And in the process of doing that, the amount of money that was paid was 6,173,296 euros. Now, Lake Turkana wrote back to to the Ministry of Energy and Kenya Power telling them, you've overpaid us. But it took a whole year for them just to give them an account number as to where they're going to return that money. One whole year, just to give them the right account details. And we are saying that these people who were procrastinating need to be held accountable for more than 30 months. Then secondly, Mr. Speaker, they went and did these transmission interconnected. There were failures in all this, way leaves and signing addendas. Those people who did that, without even explaining that there was going to be a replica effect. Mr. Speaker, just to quickly wind it up, is that we are saying that all these power purchase agreements, they should not be passing through the Attorney General's office after being signed for consent. They should actually be going to the Attorney General before being signed, so that he says that he has his input. You see, right now, the Attorney General's input is more ceremonial. This is actually from the AG themselves. It is more ceremonial. So we now want this to be reversed. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, the company, they gave another company to finish this line. What is unfortunate, this company called Nari Group Corporation and Power China Guangzhou actually did an excellent job. They finished this work before the time limit. They finished it before the time limit. And until today, the company that finished the work, that saved us that deemed generated, and they finished it in time. They not only finished it, they signed a clause saying that if we don't finish this in time, we are the ones who will take responsibility for that deemed generated. And until today, that company has not been paid. And until today, they've not even finished the amount of money. So what we are saying is part of the funds that were overpaid to Lake Turkana, that Lake Turkana has now, courtesy of this committee, I want to congratulate my colleagues and the Office of the Auditor General. Part of the things that we have been able to do is we triggered that this money was now returned back. We are saying that this money should be paid to that Chinese company so that to avoid an extra amount of interest. And not only that, it is only right they finish their work on time. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, we are saying that the National Land Commission and the Ministry of Lands should look into this matter to finalize if there were any matters of land that had to be done. The ESCC has already been directed on who is meant to be held responsible. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move, and I hope very briefly my brother, Honorable Hire, who was a member of this committee, will be able to second me so that we can be able to finalize on this.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as I stand, Mr. Speaker, basically, the Lake Turkana wind power had two components, the power plant and the transmission line. Where we had issues was the delay in the construction of the transmission line, and the problem was it was awarded to a company that didn't have the capacity. It delayed, this company called Isolax delayed, and eventually it even filed for insolvency, and then we got another company. So basically, what happened was this energy, this power from the power plant at Turkana was idle. So the company that constructed the power plant ended up now charging us, deemed generated energy, which essentially was to be evacuated from the power plant to the distribution places. So, Mr. Speaker, this report has quite a good number of recommendations, and we expect that these recommendations be implemented so that in future we don't get these kind of issues. And as I sit down, Mr. Speaker, I want to congratulate my chairman, the chairman of the Public Investment Committee. He has shown us great leadership for the past 5 years, and I honestly believe and I honestly think that he deserves to be the governor of the great county of Mombasa. I want to request the great people of Mombasa County to give the chance to Abdul Sharif. He has been a great leader. He has shown some good leadership, and actually he has shown, if you look at the PIC reports, through our recommendations and through his leadership, Mr. Speaker, we have saved these countries billions of shillings. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, allow me then to propose that this House adopts the report of the Public Investments Committee on its consideration of the special audit report on Lake Turkana Wind Power Project laid on the table of the House on Thursday, June the 2nd, 2022. Yes, indeed, I agree with you, the Honorable Hire, that the Honorable Abdul Swamad is an astute, has been an astute member of this House, and we wish him all the best in his pursuit of his dreams. His dreams are legit and they are valid, and we hope that God will give them the wings for him to fly. The first contribution will be by the Honorable Ogutu Abel, member for Bumachoge of Burab.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to congratulate the P Committee for a very clear report that has been presented ably by the chair, who is the potential candidate for governorship Mombasa County. Honorable Speaker, before I proceed, I want to thank the chair of P Committee. I've listened to his report since yesterday. I did rise for an amendment and to withdraw it after looking at the Having said that, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that this country, Kenya, has one problem. We're talking about unemployment in this country. But to me, the greatest problem in this country is workmanship. That our young people who are driving various sectors in this country are not really out to do the best that they can do, but they are out to use their positions as outlets to scaffold and stifle the development of this country. Wind energy is one alternative energy that is very potential to take this country forward. But listening to the report, Honorable Speaker, I get so disturbed that the technical people in the ministries are not giving us the best of what we expect from them. I want to use this forum and say that this country is going to continue suffering, not because of lack of unemployment, but because of lack of workers who are committed to deliver what we expect of them. It is a disease that is cutting across all sectors, beginning even from the house, at the household level, to the drivers, the maids, and everybody. You recruit somebody, and the moment he joins the job, he starts to extract from the same job. Honorable Speaker, I want to congratulate the committee and support this report. Thank you very much.
Honorable Undo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me take also this opportunity to sincerely thank the committee and the able chairman, the outgoing MP for Mvita, and the incoming governor of County 001, Mombasa Raha. I hope when you get there, you will continue with the Mombasa Raha philosophy, so that when you come to Mombasa, it is all Raha. We leave the stress in our constituencies. Mombasa has always, I have fond memories of Mombasa. The warm weather, the humidity makes the body relax. And I hope you will continue the same mantra. Clean up the garbage as you drive from Sibid all the way to Nyali. I wish you the best, and I am sure you are equal to the task, no doubt about it. ODM only attracts the best, and the best are always found in ODM. The rest go to other places where they accept mediocrity. But in ODM, we only deal in meritocracy and people who perform. And that's why many of the places ODM has always had the best brain power. Honorable Speaker, coming to the subject matter at hand, Turkana wind power projects. If you recall, Honorable Speaker, some years back, it became eminent that Kenya had a shortage or had a serious shortfall of electricity or power to run the various domestic and commercial activities. Honorable Speaker, and all the years, we have continuously complained of high electricity costs in this country, and therefore all efforts have been done in the past 20 or 30 years to reduce the cost of power and look at green power, friendly and less environmental damaging to the environment. So therefore, the mooting of the Turkana wind power project was a good idea. But as has always been a typical case in this country, a good idea, there will always be devious people who always look for ways and means of making illegal income or legal funds. Honorable Speaker, as we stand here today, it's amazing that it took 30 months for the money to be refunded, and I do believe the interest earned needs to have been explored to find out where that interest went to and who earned, who pocketed that interest, and indeed what was the intention of overpaying for the amount of money. Honorable Speaker, it's typical that before you enter a contract of this nature, there's some basic background checks you need to do. You need to take risk assessment and risk evaluation so that you put into place mitigation measures. It is inconceivable that a body like Ketraco could have failed to do this unless it was, of course, driven by some ill motive. And I just hope the next parliament, the Committee of Implementation, together with the SEC, will follow up the recommendation of the committee and deal decisively with this matter. And as I keep on saying, I like the way Baba has put it very clearly, the greatest disease in this country is not lack of resources, is not lack of economic models, is not lack of propaganda or the rest, is the fight against corruption. If indeed we can fight corruption, if indeed we can fight that kind of mentality that I, as somebody overseeing public resources, must always get my cut, then, Honorable Speaker, we would move this country very, very far. We would not need any sloganeering. We simply need to infuse into our people, those who hold executive positions, that when you hold that executive position, it's a position of trust, and you hold trust in the people of Kenya, you must give them value for money. For whatever shilling that we spend, the multiplier effect must be unit and not negative. As I conclude, Honorable Speaker, also we take this opportunity to wish you well, because Luanda, that's where my happiness comes from. My wife comes from around that area, and I wish you success. And whenever I drive through, I see how Luanda is coming up, and I just wish that you stay there for another 5 years so that you can turn it so that I can always be stopping there and take a cup of tea with my in-laws, and of course the usual staff, if the head can allow. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and wish you the best. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity.
Oh, what a day. Thank you. The Honorable Aruguru Wanjeku, member for Laikipia.
Thank you, Speaker. Allow me also to take this opportunity to put my voice to the committee led by the Honorable Abdul Salmad, the member from Vita, and also weigh in into this conversation around the Lake Turkana wind power energy. We all know that we are wasting resources and money every single day in the county of Turkana. And you weigh into this conversation from an ordinary Kenyan eye. It's true, the cost of power, the cost of energy has really gone up. And this just looks like a mockery to the ordinary citizen. Anytime they hear about the Gamia wells, the county of Turkana was supposed to be, selling crude oil to international community. The clean energy under the wind power which till now, as we lay this report and as it is adopted by this House, it still remains a conversation that is ending to nowhere. The EACC was called upon by this committee to shed more light in regards to the involvement of the Kenya Power and Lightning Company, the former MD, and even the board of directors, and even the community in itself, the private sector, and the private partners who are engaged in this project. And as it is, the loser is the taxpayer, because the taxpayer will continue funding this project as much as it is idle. But nevertheless, the people who participated or who partnered with the country, I'm talking about the private partners, they will still get their money, whether the project is ongoing or is not. I think I want to agree with the rest of the members of parliament that is a question of us engaging and involving and committing public money into projects that have no certainty end and projects that have not been conducted enough feasibility study or risk assessment. And this is the question that is before us. It's my sincere desire that whoever becomes the president moving forward, and I really hope Dr. William Ruto becomes the next president, will be in a position, to bring this matter, including many other stalled projects across our counties, to an end. The county of Turkana has been fighting since the beginning of this earth, and the reason why we have been having issues around insecurity is because of resources. If the Ngamia wells and the Turkana oil was up, and the clean energy and the wind power was running, it is certain that money will be circulating in the county of Turkana. And I weigh in this in many of our counties that have government projects, mega projects that should be taking place. Talk about the Galana Kulalu. Talk about the dams which are supposed to be continuing, and most of them, they are stalled. Talk about the many roads that Chinese government has taken up. We have committed money, but they have abandoned sites and left because they were disgruntled or there were questions of funding. And talk about many other counties which have failed to benefit, from money which was committed because we could not agree on issues that are to do with the management or analysis from independent bodies. So, Speaker, I want to support and wish my good brother, again, the MP from Vita, the very best in Mombasa. He's been my friend. I don't know what you're going to do about the Kalonzo factor around the wiper now that all of you are in Azimio. We wish you the best as you continue playing your friendly fires inside Azimio. For us, we have a candidate in UDA. I wish him the best, but I wish you better best. Thank you, Speaker, and greater thanks to the people of Laikipia for giving me a chance to serve them as the second woman MP. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, the Honorable Aruguru. The Honorable Waweru Kiari, member for Dagoretti South.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this. And I want to join my fellow colleagues in congratulating this committee. This committee has actually proven in the last 5 years that there is work that gets done in this parliament. Mr. Speaker, I'd also like to single out the chairman and just see what he has done in the last few days, especially the last 2 weeks, in presentation of his reports from his committee, a committee that I would say has been overworking. Mr. Speaker, they say that the road to hell is normally paved with good intentions. Green energy is a great intention for this country. Green energy is actually the future that we would want to walk into. But it is in such mega projects that the evil schemers want to reap what they have never sowed. Mr. Speaker, this report is actually showing us the anatomy of the making of a white elephant project, Mr. Speaker. This is how normally they are made. You dream big, you invest big initially, but never see through with the project, Mr. Speaker. And this is exactly what this report is telling us. Mr. Speaker, this is even speaking to the discussion that we shall be having as a country towards August 9th, Mr. Speaker, where we shall be deciding as a country on who we shall elect, whether we shall be going with a side that believes in mega capital investments, or whether we are going to support a side that believes that this is a country that can be built bottom up by investing in labor-based development. Development that gives work to the people, development that lets people build their own country, development that puts money in people's pocket by investing in the talents of Kenyans. That if an investor needs capital, we invest little capital in that investor. If we know a farmer is able to put up something, we subsidize their input, And we also invest an investment in their farming, Mr. Speaker, because the capital-based projects we have seen in the last 9 years, what they have ended up becoming, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I do want to support this report. I do want to pray that in the Kenya that we shall be building post August 9, we shall see as a country that we can start with the basics. We can feed our country first, Mr. Speaker. No country ever developed before they fed their people. Then after feeding our people, we can go to the basic. Make sure that everyone out of their talent is meaningfully engaged. But Mr. Speaker, I'd like to conclude by saying that these are the dying minutes of this 12th Parliament. And I do wish each and every member an awesome campaign as they make their bid, either for a return here or even for other offices. And for you, Mr. Speaker, I have been following. I have seen what is happening in Luanda. And I do pray that your goodwill that you have invested in your people shall be repaid with a re-election in this coming election. Mr. Speaker, I'd also like to single out the chairman of the committee that has laid this report. The Honorable Abdul Swamad has been exceptional in the 13th Parliament. I do believe that in the coming election, the people of Mombasa will look back and see the amazing work that he has done, because they say that if you can be trusted with the small things, you can be trusted with the bigger things. So, Mr. Speaker, in Mombasa County, I do pray for our gubernatorial candidate in the UDA and Kenya Kwanza ticket, but I want to tell him that he has a great challenge in the person of the Honorable Abdul Swamad, a fitting competitor who, given the chance, would also take Mombasa to very high heights. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Kiere, I hope the things that you have done in Dagoretti North, and especially the feeding program that you initiated, and you have actually been a trailblazer in that respect. We'll come back to the things that you have done for the people, the goodwill that you have shown in Dagoretti will shine through. And you are the kind of person that I like to associate myself with. I hope that your path will be lit and you will find your way back here to the leadership of this country. Dagoretti South, I wish you the very best, my brother. The Honorable Okelo Odoyo, member for Nyando.
Honorable Speaker, I join my colleagues in thanking the committee for PIC for coming up with such a report, which is startling in nature, with various revelations quite unknown to Kenyans. But again, on the same breath, let me thank the committee chair, the indomitable, outgoing MP from Vita, who is now poised, barring any providential intervention, to be the next governor of Mombasa County. And we are all in agreement that with his position as the governor for Mombasa, Mombasa is poised for real transformation. Honorable Speaker, delving on the agenda that is before us, it is quite puzzling how the Ministry of Energy did operate, particularly within this project, Honorable Speaker. And no wonder we needed a serious cleanup of this.
The Honorable Okello, just hold on. The Honorable Mishi Boko, member for Likoni, what is out of order?
Honorable Speaker, there's nothing out of order, but I'm looking to the time and understanding Order 95, and because of the mood of the House that I see everybody supporting this report, I was requesting if the mover could reply so that the House can adopt this report. I'm looking to the time.
Well, is that the mood of the House? Yes. That the mover be called upon to reply? Yes. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of that contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it, but the Honorable Odoyo, you can wind up so that the mover can reply.
I thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was making reference to the startling revelation by the committee, how monies were being siphoned using government agencies with certain companies actually registered abroad, but the real members or real owners of those companies are actually Kenyans here, Honorable Speaker. But it startles everybody, Honorable Speaker, how a project of this magnitude to generate power using windmill in Turkana could have taken shape without the involvement of the Attorney General's decision or assessment, Honorable Speaker. I think this should be notice to all these sagas and MDAs, Honorable Speaker, that will be doing business. And I want to give a warning shot to them early in good time, now that Honorable Raila Odinga is going to be the next president, Honorable Speaker, that these kinds of activities will never, ever be tolerated. What must be done will have to be done. And if the participatory role of the Attorney General is key, that must be put into place, and their decision or their advice must be sought, Honorable Speaker. 6 million euros, an equivalent of about 500 million shillings, taken out of the country. But again, it tells you how our morals are so different from people out there, because it is the company out there, from what the committee is saying, that wrote to the Kenyan authorities advising them that you have overpaid us. They were overpaid for reasons that this company could not understand. But again, it takes 30 months to just provide a banking information where that money, the excess, could be channeled back to. So that tells you that there was more than meets the eye in this kind of project, Honorable Speaker. These are the things that we must confine to our history books so that together we can come up with a new country, Honorable Speaker. Finally, because you told me to wrap up, let me thank the people of Nyando most sincerely for giving me the mandate to serve them 2017 to 2022. And I'm sure that they are giving me a second mandate to come back to champion their ideals 2022 to 2027, Honorable Speaker. I want to thank and wish everybody in this House great success, those who are moving to the next ladder, such as my friend Honorable Abu Swamad. I wish you well. Honorable Speaker, I know you very well, Uncle, and I have visited Luanda constituency. And if word goes around that you are around Luanda, the whole center comes to a standstill because of their love for you, Honorable Speaker. 3 months ago, I visited your constituency with the Prime Minister, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and we landed at a school where you picked us up and took us to the venue where you had prepared an event. Honorable Speaker, I was humbled that you firstly prayed for us. You know, politicians and prayers are usually invariables. But you prayed for us, and it came from your heart as I listened pensively to those prayers. And those same prayers that you prayed for the Prime Minister, to yourself, to me, and those who are in attendance, are the ones that have pushed us to where we are today. You're aware that the numbers have started changing, and the Prime Minister is now way ahead of the pack, courtesy of those same prayers that you offered, Honorable Speaker. And we know that we will continue beseeching our Father in heaven to provide to us all that we need so that we can serve our people better. And I thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity.
You are still in my prayers, Honorable Member for Nyando, that the people of Nyando will hear your prayer and your cry, and that the work you have done for them will speak for you. And I am confident that you will find your way back here. Just as the river Nyando really flows into Lake Victoria, you will surely flow back into this house. I pray for you. Before I call upon the Honorable Abdul Samad to reply, I wish to recognize the presence in the visitors gallery the following the public gallery, the following students from Kimbo Gilrai Primary School, Ruiru constituency, Kiambu County, who have come to observe the proceedings of the House. I wish them God's blessings, and I wish them success in their studies, and I wish them life and a better tomorrow in this country, and that some of them will find their way surely on this floor to debate the issues and of Kenyans in the future, surely, as we are doing today. The Honorable Abdul Samad. The Honorable Abdul Samad, I am sure this report and the things that I've listened to here in regard to this special report, I'm sure they are just the tip of the iceberg in regard to this Turkana wind power project and the whole Loyangalani line debacle. I think, from what I've heard, it surprises me that a country such as ours and the kind of poverty that strangles us, that we have produced power in enormity that we did not have the plan to use, and it just went to waste in the billions of shillings. It is a tragedy, surely. It is terrible. And the people who have done this, surely, they must someday in this country find, we must find a way to punish these people. I want them to know that as long as we are here and we know that this happened, the perpetrators of this haste upon Kenyans must find their day, surely, in the court of justice before the people of Kenya. It is terrible what has happened with this project, and we will definitely not forget what has happened as long as we are breathing and Kenyans are still there. The perpetrators must be brought to justice to book. Proceed, the Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to first and foremost thank every single one of you here. It has been a truly beautiful journey. Most important, it has been a journey of learning. And as I beg to reply, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank every one of you, the accolades that you have showered me with. This was not a one-man army. I would not have been able to do this if it was not for the support of my colleague members, the members of staff who are attached to my committee, and definitely the Secretariat and the Clerk's office, and the Speaker for having supported us. It has been a very, very exciting journey. We were able to work even during the COVID period, remotely or otherwise, and in some instances where we had to, we did what needed to be done. We've set records, and I'm hoping that I have made the people of Mvita and Mombasa at large proud for being their representative, and I wish the next lot who are going to come after us the best of luck, and they take the mantle even higher. With those many remarks, once again, I'm truly honored and humbled, and I beg to reply. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Abdul Samad. Honorable members, I think we have come to the end of today's session. But I just want to, again, wish all the members the very best in their endeavors as they seek to exit from the House, to move on to different positions, and those who are, whatever you seek, whatever your heart seek, may you find it. I just want to remind all of us that leadership at the end of the day comes from God. And this country really needs leaders who will serve the needs of the people rather than our own desires from the heart, our personal desires. So therefore, I will end my my sojourn in this seat. I'm sure probably this is the last time I'm sitting here in this particular 12th house, with a prayer for Kenya, that it gets the very best leaders who will redeem them from the want that they seem to have, and who will deliver them to the very best. I wish all the people, all the Kenyans, who are aspiring to a better tomorrow, that their dreams may be true. Honorable members, the time being 1 p.m., this House stands adjourned until today, Thursday, the 9th of June 2022 at 2:30 p.m.